Hi, I wanted to follow up on another issue that is kind of linked to the one I talked about the other day about suicide in men, which is, obviously related to mental health. But I think it's very much connected to this other topic that I wanted to raise and discuss with you, and that is the role of taking care of your physical health as a man. I certainly have had to confront in my 50s and now 60s the need to really look after myself more. I probably, like a lot of guys, thought, well, I'm sort of invincible, and I can just wing it. I don't need to go to the doctor, have a checkup, all that sort of stuff. So what I learned out of a couple of experiences through my 50s and 60s is that the role of using doctors and the medical profession to help prevent ill health rather than wait for something really serious to happen, like a heart attack or stroke or whatever it is. And the more I learned about the role of medicine and doctors to help me live a longer life, which is great, and a better quality of life, I thought, wow, why was I putting this off so long? And, I've got a pretty good bullshit meter, and I've approached these experiences of having to look at my, heart health and my blood pressure and my weight, and my exercise, nutrition, all those things. I've had to look at that with both eyes open and realise that the ultimate person who can, deliver on those things like a longer life and a better quality of life is me. So the choice is me. And, from time to time, and even more recently, I've had neighbours who die very suddenly in their early 60s. One the other day, 70, just out at a shop, just dropped dead, boom. And no sort of early sign or indication that was going to happen. And every time I walk past that neighbour's house, it was only 2 weeks ago, and I'm going to their funeral this Friday, I think to myself, wow, death is so final. Like somebody a few weeks ago I always waved to, said hello to, we caught up at Christmas at a neighbour's function. Every time I walk past now, I realise I can't speak to them. I have no way to relate to them anymore. They're gone. And it's a pretty sobering reminder that, we're only here for a finite time. And, when I do walk past their house in the morning, I kind of half pat myself on the back and I think, well, I'm going for my daily walk with my dog, giving them a walk, giving me a walk, maybe giving myself that a little bit longer life, better quality of life, less time in hospitals, more time enjoying my family. I mean, the payoffs are like huge, and I don't feel like I've sold out or I'm weak or, a sook or something like that. In fact, I've had nothing but praise from my family for looking after myself and doing more to help with my health. I mean, they want me to stick around, which I guess is a good sign. I'm sure it is. But yeah, I wanted to raise it as another issue to do with men, and as I said, I've had to struggle with this as well, and challenge those inbuilt assumptions that I've had, that going to the doctor, having health checks, following things up, is okay. I'm not going to be a weaker version of myself. In fact, I think I'd rather be getting the help of medical practitioners and looking after myself than being dead and 6 foot under. I mean, it's a pretty graphic kind of contrast in my mind. And I like in Australia where I live, they have a campaign that every 2 years they send out a colon kit where you take a sample of your stool and send it off to the lab and basically screens you for colon cancer, which is a very common cancer both in men and women. And I heard the statistic the other day that it was only 30%, so less than 1 in 3 people actually do that test. So something that takes only a couple of minutes. More than 2/3 of people don't bother. They're prepared to roll the dice and go, well, yeah, if colon cancer comes, I'll just sort it out when it happens. And we know, unfortunately, that these things like cancer and heart conditions and these chronic conditions, if they really take hold, if they get their teeth into you, well, the outcome's usually a lot grimmer than, avoiding it in the first instance, or maybe getting on top of it before it grows too far. So, the topic of death and, our mortal end is not something we really like to talk about a lot, but it is a reality that all of us will die one day, and it seems like a no-brainer to me that if I have potential to be able to not choose when I die, but influence when I might die and how I might die, and give myself a little bit more wriggle room than I otherwise would have, I think, well, I'm going to give that a damn good shot. So if any of you are a bit on the fence or not really up to the idea of going to see a regular doctor or getting yourself checked out, I would encourage you really to give it a shot and to just be open-minded and go, well, a bit of information is better than no information, walking into a brick wall. To me, every day I wake up and I stand on 2 legs. I feel like I'm the richest guy in the world because I'm alive, I'm well, I'm getting a bit emotional now, but I'm with my family. It's a wonderful thing, and I hope that you in your life you can be happy and healthy for as long as you possibly can. And like I talked about the other day, the mental health side is just as important as the physical health. So, and I think that they actually relate and influence each other. So I know certainly if I look after myself more physically, I'm happier and more together mentally, and vice versa. If I've got my head straight, then I'm more able and motivated to exercise, look after myself, to just do stuff. And us men, I reckon, we like to think that we've got all the answers and that somehow we can think our way through all this. And I think what I've learned over the last 10 or 15 years, the hard way, is that some things have to be learned along the way. And it's okay to not know all the answers. Doesn't mean you're no good or you're dumb. And I've been more than impressed by the things that I've learned about how I can help my health, and particularly on this preventative side. I mean, I'm really motivated about what I can do and am doing to help me prevent big nasties. Because statistically, we will all die from something. You know, we don't go on and on. But if it's some of the big ones like cancer, heart disease, you know, I don't know, diabetes, even limb issues or joints, I want to sort of push them further down the track as much as I can. So, and I guess the other thing that I'd also encourage you is really try and listen to your body, whether it be your mind or your physical self. If you get any twinges, pains, aches, things that are a bit out of the ordinary, just go and get them checked out. I'll give you an example that happened to me. So about 18 months ago, I started to get really serious, like chest pains, you know, up and down my chest, and I thought, oh my God, here we go. It's the end, you know. Wasn't quite serious enough for me to call the ambulance. Like it wasn't like, I don't know, somebody hit me with a sledgehammer, but it was serious enough to go, I really have to get this looked at. So I went to my local GP straight away, and they got me in, and they did I think an angiogram or something like that. And immediately I described what I went on, or what was happening with my GP. He diagnosed, and it was subsequently confirmed at the hospital, that it was musculoskeletal, and that's just a fancier word for, I'd started a new gym routine, and the lat presses that I was doing had kind of ruptured or strained some chest muscles, and that's what I was feeling. In fact, you know, if I pushed the muscles back then, I could feel that it was more muscular than inside the chest. But man, I was scared out of my life, you know. So I went away with great news in a way, that it wasn't a heart issue, it was muscular. I went to the physiotherapist and they concurred with that and worked on my chest. But, you know, could you say, well, you know, did I have to do all that? Go and see them? Probably not. But for me, I would have been worried sick and thought, gee, you know, I don't know where this is all going. But I was able to get to a point where the knowledge informed me that sometimes even doing things like a gym program can give you symptoms that you need to get checked out. And I'd rather know that my health was okay. It was just that I'd overstrained and put some pressure on those muscles. So, and I think that's the thing I've learned too, is just going to the doctor doesn't mean it's always bad news. And I think that men sometimes believe that. And the answer, they think, is just put it off. Put off that's news I don't need to know, and somehow it'll go away. You know, it's around the corner. If I can't see it, it doesn't matter. And man, that's so risky. That is so risky. Because the other thing I'm aware of is that doctors, they're there in support of us. We're the CEO of our body. We don't have to do what they say. We can get second opinion, we can ignore them. Ultimately, it's our choice. But I'd rather have the information to make a choice on what I'm doing than just flying blind. So, if at any time something happens and only you know about it, and you're on that fence, should I do something about it or not? I reckon get it checked out. Because I'd love to see you stay around for your life, for your family, because you matter, we all matter, and we matter to somebody. And life's a lot more enjoyable living than dead, I reckon. So go you. Love to hear your comments, experiences, suggestions. But I think we as men need to stick together, back ourselves, and say, you know, it's okay to really look after ourselves. You have a great day, eh? Take care.